Hey guys, so in this video tutorial, we're going to be going over how to set up the Qidi Tech 3D printer. Power cord, handles, you want to make sure you grab these. These are at the bottom of your box. That holds the printer heads. What we're going to do is we're going to pull this back a little bit. I want to just shimmy this out. We're going to want to loosen these two bolts at the very bottom. You have two hot ends, or two extruders. You have two cooling fans for them. We're going to want to unscrew our filament cooling fan here. So once we have that off, we're going to want to set the print head down with the cooling fans facing forward. Next, you're going to take the largest hex wrench that they give you, and you're going to come beneath the printer, or beneath the... And then instruction manual is called a turbofan baffle. And what this does, it redirects the air that this fan is pushing onto the actual plastic. You have two holes here and you have a pin on the inside. If you click this guy in, then it should just fit snug. Bring it back and you're going to line up the screws. And we're just going to screw these in by hand. What we're going to do is we're going to take one of the two screws, use the medium size Allen key, and I'm just going to insert this into the hole to where it holds the fan in place. So the sides are very easy, they're magnetic. You can just stick them on and we're done. You're going to need the hinges that they include and the handle, and it comes with all of the bolts that you need. And you're going to want to take out this wrench. I'm going to take one of our plastic hinges and we're going to make sure that the screw here is on the door. And I'm going to take one of the nuts and just put that there. To install the front door, what we're going to do is take one of these black hinges and put it in the side with the screw. We're next going to take one of these black screws that also came in the pouch, and you're just going to insert it and hand tighten. We're going to take the same screws and you're just going to line them up and you're going to insert it to the screw holes provided. Again, you're not doing this too tight. You can go ahead and tighten all four. We're going to take the handle that they included and the two small silver screws, hand tighten, just enough. We're going to take the side handles included. There's going to be two of them, and it's going to come with screws. You're going to stick the screw, if I can find it, stick the screw through and attach the handle, just to get it in there so your screw doesn't fall out. You're going to take the same Allen key as the other ones and you're just going to slip it in between the pulleys and hand tighten. Once you do it on both sides, you can go to the other side and repeat the step. We're going to want to grab these two spool holders. If you loosen the top, this part here is actually going to go inside of the printer. You're going to want to loosen this black threaded bolt here. And I'm going to take it from the outside, or the inside out in this case, and I'm screwing it in into the out from here. And once it's poking through enough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part here and I'm going to line it up, and I'm just going to screw it until I feel that it's tight. So if I take this washer here, I can just screw it on like so, and it's going to be a little tight because you had it threaded. And I suggest that anybody starting off with this 3D printer start with PLA rather than the ABS. You can identify it by looking at the tag, and it says here PLA, and it'll tell you the diameter. We'll unscrew the cap to the spool holder. We're going to remove the plastic from the holes holding it to the spool. Attach it to the spool holder and reattach the cap. I want to make sure that the filament is rotating this way so that the starting point comes up this way. You don't want it to be the opposite way because you're feeding the filament through here, through this Bowden tube. To attach the Bowden tube, we're going to slide it down and into these locks, just like that. I'm just going to feed it until it comes all the way up to the top. Once it starts peeking through, this is where the fun starts. We're going to grab our second Bowden tube And I'm just gonna slide it in between these clamps here, just so that it's poking out maybe about 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna push these clips down into your little click, just like that. So the last step on your actual setup of the printer itself, you're gonna grab your plug-in here, and we're just gonna plug it into the back. And once you flip the switch, your printer should turn on. Now that you've turned your 3D printer on, we're gonna come here to our keypad here, and we're gonna hit the bottom arrow to move to utilities, and you can hit OK to choose. And then we're gonna go down to home access, and once you've clicked home access, your 3D printer should move to its home position. So now that we've hit home on our build plate and our extruder, we're gonna tighten this down as far as it can go, so that your extruders don't bump into the plate. Next, we're going to move back down to our screen and controls, and we're going to go up 1 to level build plate. And once you click this, it should automatically set itself to its center. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our leveling paper and we're going to level. So to level our build plate and extruders, we're going to put the leveling paper right underneath it, underneath the extruders, and I'm going to loosen the bolts until I feel just a little bit of resistance. You're going to start at the center, and that seems good. Now what you're going to do is you're going to physically move your gimbal to the top corners, and you're going to do the same thing. I'm loosening the screw just until I feel a little bit of pull. If your extruders are not at the correct height from the build plate, then you won't have good first layer adhesion. These slowly, and it's just a little bit of tug. Just enough where if I pull the piece of plastic paper out, I can easily slide it back in. And for the last one, it's this back corner, or the back center. Perfect. And to check that you've done everything correctly, you're going to put this guy in the middle of the build plate, and now you should have that same tug. Perfect. So now that we've leveled our build plate, I'm going to hit the back arrow to get back to our main menu screen, and I'm going to go to preheat, and I'm going to start the preheat on the left extruder. And then go to start preheat. Cool. Now that that's starting, you can hit the back arrow again, go to utilities and filament loading, and then we're going to load left. It's going to take a while to heat up, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. So once you get this confirmation, it's also going to sound off, and it just sounded off. You're going to want to grab your Bowden tube with your PLA plastic, and this is one of the most important parts that you do this correctly. So you want to take out maybe about 2 inches of plastic. What I like to do is I like to snip it off from where it started from the factory cut, because it's bent. You want this part to be as straight as possible. Now once you insert this into here, you should feel it grab from you. You can see that it's grabbing, and you're just gonna push this Bowden tube in, and if we look on the bottom, once it starts coming out from there, there's some yellow filament from the test print that the actual company did. So it's purging out right now, and it's starting to change to orange. Once it does that, because we know that our filament is orange, we're going to hit OK on our control buttons. Cool. Now you can go back to there, and now you're basically ready to start 3D printing. So we're going to take our lid here, and I'm just going to put all of the wires on the inside, just like that, the 2 Bowden tubes and the actual connector, and we're done. Magnetic attachment makes it really easy for this to be pulled off and put back on. Depending on what kind of filament you're using, you're going to want these side plates on also. And here it is. This is the final assembly of the Qidi 3D printer. your bed is leveled, preheated, and you're ready to start 3D printing. I hope this tutorial was easy to follow along. My name is Travis. Thank you for watching.